certainly not favourites, but they're in a fantastic position at the moment. And, of course, they go to Arsenal tomorrow night as well. Goodness me, if Villa were to win there, that would shake things up, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Look, Jeff, I mean, seeing Villa 7 points ahead of last year's Premier League winners in Liverpool, and the way they've played, especially away from home as well, comebacks that they've turned around. I mean, the game at the weekend against Chelsea, it was one-way traffic, Jeff. Literally for an hour. It was just Chelsea, and if it's going to go to 2, and then you see the substitutions, and Sancho, who we haven't really spoke about, who came on, who done a great job coming into the team, looked lively, creative, but Ollie Watkins getting a brace made a huge difference. But Villa were completely transformed in the last half hour of the game.
Yeah, completely, and they needed to be, because after 55 minutes, if you'd have told me that Villa were going to win that, if you'd have told me that Villa would get a point from that, I would not have believed you. But they did better than that, didn't they? Let's bring in the former Aston Villa midfielder, Lee Hendrie. Morning, Lee.
How are you, Lee?
Morning, Jeff. How are you? How are you guys? You okay?
Yeah, really good, thanks, Lee, mate. Look, I tell you what, I mean, if at the start of the season you'd said to any Villa fan, at this stage, you will be 10 points clear of 5th place. So, not quite guaranteed a Champions League spot. You'd have bitten their hand off, wouldn't you?
Oh, 100%. 100%. I think the standout thing here is that over the summer period where Villa had their hands tied and not being able to bring new players in, if you like, what players Unai actually wanted, down to the sort of financial fair play situation. I think I looked at it coming into this season and thought, you know what? Liverpool are going to be better. Chelsea are going to be better. All the top clubs are, are going to start coming to the fight. Spurs, I thought, were going to be a lot better this season. I would have said, listen, a 7th place, 6th place would have been perfect. So I think that would have been ideal for where we're at with the squad we've got. But to think of the start as well that we had was very poor. I mean, yes, you just... Everyone's in dreamland at the minute that's related with the football club and supports the football club, because we're doing things and we're achieving things at the moment. Since the manager's come in, let's be honest, he is one of the top managers in football, and we're really lucky to have him, and he's steering the ship brilliantly. But it's just brilliant. It really is. Like you said, Jeff, before the season, you'd have snapped your hands off to finish in a top 5 position.
Yeah. Let's get this right. Okay, it's a different proposition going to Arsenal, who have only conceded 11 goals. And look, Villa are not going to be able to do the 4-3 that they did at Brighton, the 3-2 they did at West Ham, winning 2-1 at Chelsea. They're not going to... Arsenal are going to not let them do that because they're so much better defensively. So there isn't... I think it's a much tougher case of going behind against Arsenal and turning the game round, because of them as a team are so much better defensively.
Yeah, I mean, collectively they are, aren't they? That's the thing. That's one standout thing about Arsenal is that, listen, they're a very good team. That's why they're sitting top of the table. Defensively, they've been good. They're dangerous in the forward areas. It just seems to be that tactically, Unai's seem to be able to get it right. And I say that because, at home against Arsenal, I thought we were the better team. I think Arsenal had a good spell in the game, but it's going to be completely different. It really is. And as you said, I think the games that we've had of late, even the Leeds game going back to, it's almost like it's took, 50 minutes, 60 minutes for the team to get going. And then all of a sudden, Morgan Rogers has popped up with a couple of goals, or, Ollie's popped up with a couple of goals as he did against Chelsea. This is going to be a tactically one. It's going to be difficult. And I think, personally, going into these 2 games, I would have snapped your hands off for 2 points. We're sitting on 3 points at the minute. So the pressure's on Arsenal. There's no doubt of that. Listen, are Villa contenders? That's the other question. But everyone's thinking Arsenal City are going to go and win the Premier League. This is why I think going into this game, it just probably, I won't say it eases the pressure, but having the 3 points under our belt on this fabulous run, confidence is absolutely sky high at the minute. Why can't Villa go and get something?
Oh, well, look, they must believe that they're almost invincible at the moment with the way things have been going. But, of course, January's coming round, Lee. And you looked at the Villa bench at Stamford Bridge. It's got 3 or 4 kids in there. How important is it that they find the money from somewhere to go and strengthen that squad, or at least go and find the sort of loans that they managed last January?
Yeah, well, that's the clear point for me. I think that what they did last January and bringing sort of Asensio and Rashford in, they were massive. They give everyone another boost, didn't they? And let's be quite frank here. Villa in touching distance of being top of the Premier League. They're in touching distance of having an unbelievable season. Players who are not playing at the moment, there's good possibilities that they want to come to the football club. It's a massive football club and well supported, and we've got a brilliant manager that's taken them forward. So I think the loan window is going to be absolutely huge for them. I'm sure Harvey Elliott will go back. You touched on Jadon Sancho there. I want to see more of that, what I seen when he came on against Chelsea, because he looked a different player, but it's got to be consistent. And that's where squad depth is absolutely massive. And I will touch on that Unai has used that squad brilliantly this season. Some of the subs he's brought on in big games, I've thought, is that going to be the right move? The likes of Bogard, who's really stepped up. I mean, it's been brilliant the way he's galvanised the squad when it hasn't quite happened. He's played Marlon through the middle. People have judged that, and then all of a sudden Watkins comes on and sets the place alight. The squad's buying into what he's doing, and whether that small squad, he's keeping this momentum going. Sometimes you have that belief throughout the team, but I think, as you said, going into January, it's a long season, is it? We were top at Christmas once under John Gregory, and the wheels fell off completely. It's easily done in this division.
Yeah, Lee, just a quick one on this. I felt before the game and seeing Ollie Watkins on the bench that Unai was going, I'm playing him at the Emirates. That's why I want him. I want him to be there at the Emirates, 90 minutes, or, be starting. And knowing that, like you said, Marlon can come on and get goals. Watkins can come on and get goals. I think he'll start with Watkins, though.
Yeah, I do as well. I think he can't not, can he? I mean, he's come on and got himself a couple of goals. His confidence will be sort of on the up again, which Villa fans want to see, because his numbers haven't been anywhere near what they have been over the past season, and he has been a consistent goal scorer and a big player for Villa, might I add, as well. So yes, I think the style of play that Villa are playing at the moment, that's probably why he isn't reached them numbers. We're not playing out and out sort of wide players, or someone who's dynamic going forward who can put the ball in the box. But I think that you're dead right. I think that's what he's looked at. Ollie usually does well against Arsenal, hopefully. And I think he will start. I think he deserves to start getting himself 2 goals.
Yeah, he was brilliant. Look, there are so many Villa players we could talk about. So many players that I've loved. I've loved Onana this season. Tielemans is fantastic. Cash has been just a revelation. I know he misses the game against Arsenal through suspension. But one player we never seem to talk about, who impresses me every time I see him, is Boubacar Kamara. I just think he's been key to Villa's success.
Yeah, massive. I remember when he got brought to the club, and I remember speaking to Stephen Gerrard about him, and he said this kid's gonna be a player. This kid will be a player, and I never thought it. I didn't know much about him, but since he's come into that Villa team, I mean, he's some player, by the way. I mean, he's composed, he's calm when he gets on the ball. He wants to get it in every area. And I think that's what it's been needing. You touched on the likes of Tielemans. I think all of that midfield, Jeff, has been, I think, up there with the best so far in the Premier League. I really do. John McGinn, you know what you're getting with John McGinn. He works tirelessly hard in that midfield. There's a nice little blend in there of quality, and that's where it's been so good. But Kamara, since he's put a Villa shirt on, I mean, he's been outstanding.
It's interesting. When Morgan Rogers has been absolutely on fire, and he hasn't had a particularly good game for about 50 minutes, 55, like the Villa team, and then suddenly comes up with a pass.
Yeah.
For Ollie Watkins, and that is a sign of a really top player that's not having his greatest game, Lee, and then suddenly produces a great ball.
Well, do you know something? I've had this conversation with many people, and I think that's why Unai keeps him on the pitch. But you've got to admit is that, like you just said there, I've watched the likes of Messi, we've watched the likes of Ronaldo, who probably don't get many touches in a game, but all of a sudden they just come up with something magical, a pass, a goal, of something. But that's where I think the category of top players that's when they can step up and produce it, because we know you can go 50, 60 minutes into a game and you're not getting much of the ball, and all of a sudden you're looking over to the bench thinking, am I going to come off because I haven't affected the game? That does show sheer class. It really does, because he is an absolute top player. I mean, going into the season, it took him a while to get his feet back. It took him a while to find his feet. I don't know if that was because his head was turned by, lots of talk about him leaving the club. But all of a sudden, he has really, really been the talisman. He's been the standout player for Villa this season. And all because, as you just said, he might not be in games, but then he can produce moments of quality.
Lee, look, I see you and I hear you on Sky all the time. So pleased that things are going well, mate.
Thanks, Jeff. Appreciate that, mate.
Good luck, Lee.
You take care, Lee.
Thanks, guys. Cheers, Tony.
Arsenal against Aston Villa. What a game that promises to be. It's exclusively live on talkSPORT. 8:15 kick-off tomorrow night, of course. Presentation in the build-up is from Adrian Durham, commentary from Sam Matterface and the former England captain Stuart Pearce, with the only place you can listen to this week's full programme of Premier League games. Now, talkSPORT understands Nuno's West Ham future is already under threat at West Ham after, well, not much more than a handful of games in the hot seat. The latest on that is next.